But I can also see where someone might argue that it's not exercise.
How can you say it's not exercise? You're out, you're out moving your body.
Personally, I don't see myself getting any fitter by walking, so...
It's not high-end exercise.
Hi, this is Scout.
Hello, Scout.
No.
No, I'm trying new moves.
Okay. Hi, this is Scout.
But I already did mine. Hello, Scout.
and William from Hypermentilating, the podcast, a show that follows life and change through the eyes of a father and daughter. Join us as we find our way together.
Our way together, we are finding.
Yep, I already said that.
Well, I'm reinforcing the message. Is this how it's going to be? Is this the kind of episode we're dealing with?
So the first thing we're going to talk about today.
No, okay. No ASMR nonsense. No. Nobody wants to hear that.
Also, shout out to...
I mean, maybe somebody does, but...
Shout out to ASMR Ari. Go follow her on TikTok. Okay, go do that. So...
Plug.
Just wanted to point that out.
All right, there you go.
Her account is asmr.ari.
She's doing ASMR stuff?
Oh, yeah.
And I just mocked ASMR noises? Well, that seems like a conflicting
really
message. No, I mocked you making them.
Okay.
She does an amazing job.
Yeah, she actually does. So, go listen to her videos, okay? So our first topic of the day is, does walking count as exercise? ?
Nah, it's exercise for sure.
Personally, I think it is exercise. But I can also see where someone might argue that it's not exercise.
How can you say it's not exercise? You're out moving your body.
Personally, I don't see myself getting any fitter by walking, so...
It's not high-end exercise.
Oh, well, that's the question. Is it, like,
it's
exercise?
It's not the question.
Exercise?
The question is, walking count as exercise? That's the question. And the answer is yes.
I just put it down wrong. That's not what I meant.
Oh, you had a separate question? I mean, it's not going to get you into the Olympics because you can do a brisk stroll around the neighborhood. Well, they do. They have power. They have that weird walking.
Oh my God!
I don't know if they still have it. Yeah, have you never seen those guys? They do this weird hip thing, and their feet, and because their feet aren't allowed to, they always have to go heel toe. They have to be on the ground.
Yeah, in an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Captain Holt, when they have to go to Florida, he walks with this group of old women, and he says heel ball toe or something like that.
Yeah,
heel ball toe.
Power speed walking. Yeah. Actually, you probably work up a sweat doing that.
Yeah.
No, but does walking prolong a person's existence in a manner that probably makes it
not if you get hit by a car.
Smoother? Yeah. Yeah, walking is exercise. If you go fast, it can be more so. If you carry weights, even more so. It all depends. But it's not exercise. You know what's not exercise? Sitting on the couch eating Cheetos with a beer resting on your stomach.
I beg to disagree.
Well, you can beg to disagree all you want, but if you're on the couch with Cheetos and a beer resting on your belly, you're not exercising. I'm guaranteeing that.
I does.
Well, what's your question then, if you've misquestioned?
Does walking count as exercise that can tone your muscles?
Well, I mean, you're moving your body. Like, it's exercise, man.
I guess. Well, that was a pretty quick topic.
Well, no, I mean, is it an efficient way? It depends what you do. If you walk and it's hot out and you're walking, getting your heart rate up, so you're walking fast. If you're walking uphill, there's a million ways you could make it become more and more of a thing that might get you into better and better shape. But at its basic level, if you go and walk a few K every day, a couple of miles every day, yeah, I mean, you're far, far more advanced than if you were not to do the same thing. So it's all about your heart rate. If you get your heart rate up, then you're getting more of a cardio workout. Your muscles are working. Everything's being fluid.
Yeah, I mean, I walk all the time, so it's not really an issue to me. Like, I'm a walking fiend.
Yeah, we like to walk. We walk everywhere.
I'm actually not a walking fiend. I don't know what I'm yapping about.
I would not. It's definitely exercise.
Yeah, it's exercise. I guess.
Well, if you're
Take out every time
we're not talking
every time
about
I've
the
said I
walking you
guess.
do from your bed to the bathroom
Yeah,
to
no,
the kitchen.
I know. We're
back
talking
to
about
your
like actual walking.
Yeah, going out, stretching, and going 3, 4, 5 kilometers, 2 or 3 miles. Like that's exercise for sure.
Yeah.
And then we bring groceries back in bags that are heavy. Like you come back and your arms, your shoulders are tired, sore. Like that's a workout. That's just workout as much as anything. I think that it's just it's not a huge heart rate thing. But if you watch what you eat in concert with going and walking every day, then you're going to maintain weight and you'll be way healthier into old age. Older people, you see them, they walk exactly because it is exercise and they can't run anymore or they can't, they can't jump and leap and climb trees. But what they can do is go and walk. For a 10-year-old, actually walking isn't really that much exercise because they can run and so walking for them is nothing. But as you get older, walking becomes increasingly more an exercise.
Yeah.
But you don't have another question then to do with exercise?
No, that's it.
Wow.
So that went pretty fast. Our next topic.
Well, so we're abandoning that. We're done with that one, are we? Wow. All right.
Our next topic is Apple versus Android. Pros and cons.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes. Wrapped up.
Yep. So I'm going to list the pros and the cons of each.
Oh, I thought it was just a question of are there pros and cons?
Yeah, there are. So I'm going to list them. Apple, pros versus cons. Pros, they're fancy looking. They're pretty good. They're good. The cameras are great.
Which one are you talking about? You could be
Apple.
talking about either of them.
Apple. Yeah. It's very name brand. So I guess people like that.
Okay, I tell you can be Apple and I'll be Android.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
The pros of my product are that they're cooler looking than yours, and
that's not necessarily true. Yours are blandly the same. Every one of them looks exactly the same. My Android phones come in all flavors, sizes, shapes. They flip, they fold. The screen pops out. They're things of beauty.
Well, there's more Android users than Apple users, which means ours are more rare. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's reaching. That's one of your pros to your
They're name brand. They're name brand.
Apple.
So more people are likely to look at Apple and think, "Ooh, that's Apple," than to look at Android and be like, "Oh, that's Samsung." You know?
There's no question that an Apple is an Apple and an Android is a way less expensive, more efficient, better value for your money. Could be any shape or size or look.
Well, me personally, if I had to choose between an Apple or Android phone, I'd choose Apple. But if I had to choose between an Apple or Android...
Why?
Just because, I don't know, I've always used Apple. So it's...
Yeah, because you grew up in an Apple family of Apple users. So that if we were an Android family, then you would use an Android.
Yeah, for sure. But
why?
I would, because I don't know, I prefer them. I've seen people use Android. I think Apple is smoother.
But you've never really used an Android,
no,
right?
I do. I have friends who have Androids, and I definitely use their phones, yeah.
Yeah, and you find that the Apple is a better experience.
Yeah, yeah. But,
why?
But then if we're talking about...
Because really, that's a pro. Why? So you're the Apple person here. Why
just the animations and... I don't know, I just think they're...
Is it a product of just what you're used to? You're coming back to that cooler, but what does that mean? Like,
I just think that there's
more cash. There's more of a positive attachment to it. Like, I'm an Apple user.
No. For me, it doesn't have anything to do with name brand. I just prefer Apple. I've used Android phones. I've seen Android phones. I just prefer the smoother look of Apple. But I can understand Android, too. There's nothing wrong with Android. I think people that argue between Android and Apple, I don't think it's...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they look quite similar now.
Yeah.
You mean the look like of the screen, like the operating system when you open it, how the icons look and how everything... Okay. I actually am 100% with you. I prefer Apple, too, but I wonder if it's not just because, I'm the Android guy. the Android icons are much more customizable.
Efficient. They're actually not.
But they are.
They're not.
No, I'm afraid
you can
they
change
are.
the color of the Apple icons.
But with the Android, you can change the icon itself. I don't even know if that's true. I'm just guessing it is.
Wow.
I'm a Linux guy, so I'm assuming that anything better than Apple means you can customize it.
Okay. If I had to choose between an Apple computer or desktop, or an Android or any other brand desktop or computer,
I'd PC, like a regular.
Yeah, I'd be more inclined to choose a PC, just because I think they work better. MacBooks are really pretty. They're really cool looking, and they work well too.
Yeah,
I mean,
they work fine.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose between PC or Mac, I think I would choose PC. A lot of that also has to do with I've always used Chrome or PC, but I think overall I would just choose PC.
I mean, I've used both a lot, and I prefer, again, I'm a Linux guy, and I just think that I just prefer the customization of it. Like, it's just there's way more things you can do. It's way more of a personal experience. It's way more with Apple, you have to do things Apple's way.
I mean, I've never owned a Mac too, so once again, I'm biased.
It's just a different operating system. So it looks similar. They all use Windows. They all use files and folders. Like all of it's the same. It's just that Apple's so proprietary. So people don't build a lot of external apps and things for, like, Linux is the nerd world, right? So there's always dudes building things that you can do some new cool thing on it, and then PC, Microsoft, that has the vast majority of the market is using the Microsoft system, and so everybody's building things for that, like different apps and functions and everything. And so I think there's way more things you can do with them. There's that, and then value, right? Like it used to be Apple was a way better machine, and it's not anymore. It's just simply not. Anybody who says it is just trying to make themselves believe that, because as far as motherboards, graphics, all of that, your value you get in a laptop, a PC over Apple is huge. And then but I don't think that's necessarily true in a phone as far as price. Like, there's the high-end Androids are not cheap either.
Right.
So I think there's pros and cons to both of them.
Yeah, I think that MacBooks are great. They're really
I'm talking about phones, like getting back to the phones now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we kind of hit on the computer one other time.
Yeah, I mean...
The downside of Apple, to me, is the same thing as we were just kind of talking about with the computers, is proprietary. So that's my biggest downside with Apple, is that they're Apple products. You're going to do things their way. They're only going to be customizable to the extent that you allow them to be. And I don't mean just for aesthetics, like, oh, I can make this pretty or not. I mean customizable in the sense that you can bring on different functionality of the phone by using an external program that somebody's created, right? You just simply can't do that with Apple. You can get apps, but they're all working inside the Apple. Like the ability for somebody to create something that then you can use on your system that's a huge advantage on Androids and a huge disadvantage on Apple products.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, I'd choose Apple. Just because overall, in everything, I just prefer Apple. I like how everything is less complicated to me. There's less buttons.
Yeah.
So
I just wonder how much of that is what we're used to, as opposed to actually what the functional truth. Again, it's the Linux thing, right? Like I up until I started using Linux, I had used Macs and I had used PCs all my life, and so I knew both of those operating systems, and I just assumed that Linux was this weird nerd world where nothing really worked and you had to know how to code and everything, and that's not how it is at all anymore.
No, I mean, I use Linux.
You use Linux too now, and once we started using it and set it up, it was like, it's unbelievable how streamlined and beautiful and fast it works, and how you can take an old junky computer that's 10 years old, a laptop, and make it a computer that works fine just by getting the bloated Microsoft system off of it, or the proprietary Apple that'll only work if they say it can work.
Yeah.
So there's.
I mean, both are,
to me, the
both are
phones
great devices.
Yeah, totally.
I think they're quite
It used to be
even paced, but Apple is, in the end, it's Apple for me.
Yeah, for me, I think that I probably would lean towards Android. Like, the main reason I use Apple still is iMessage, because everybody,
Right.
so many of the people in our family
Yeah,
use
but I mean,
Apple.
Android people use iMessages too, so.
Do they?
Yeah.
You can get
Yeah.
iMessage?
Not iMessage, but you can
that's what
send send
I know.
messages to iMessage through an
okay.
Android, so.
But that's the main reason, is just that, because I think, again, that in this case it's similar. That's what I was getting at with the Linux thing too, is that the Android systems have caught up to the Apple systems. I think 10 years ago there was no comparison. An Apple phone was a million times better than an Android phone.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case anymore. The cameras have caught up, the systems have caught up, and so now I think you're looking at, it's really personal, like whichever one.
Yeah, and personally, Apple.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
I see that. I mean, I'm
And that's
kind
not
of
because
an
I'm a
Apple
snob or
person
anything.
too.
I just,
No.
it's what I've used all my life. Not all my life, but
Yeah.
it's what I've used, so it's just what I'm used to. And also, from what I've seen and from what I've used, I prefer the feeling and the look and the vibe of Apple.
And I'm with you. I definitely understand. I completely in agreement with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
But somebody had to take poor old Android's side.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for being that soldier.
Yeah. For my sacrifice, it was great.
So yeah. Do you have a change happens for us?
I do have a change happens for us. Is this where we are, Irish?
It is.
All right. Here you go. When did you realize that you can't have anything you want? And what was the impact of that?
I guess I always kind of knew that I couldn't have everything I wanted, but when it kind of like hit me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I don't know, like I think I was 5 or something, and we were at a grocery store in Cinco de Diciembre, that little Soriana's, well, not little, but that grocery store we would walk to.
Yeah.
And sometimes you would get us, like, you would get me a Barbie or something, and you get Paws a Hot Wheel. Do you remember that?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So, I guess kind of around then, when I just always assumed the first time you got me a Barbie that I would always get a Barbie when we went there.
Yeah.
Just because I just kind of assumed that. I was like, oh, well, Dad bought me a Barbie this time, so I'm going to get a Barbie every day now.
I bought you Hot Wheels a lot, too.
No, I loved the Hot
Yeah,
Wheels.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. But
I just thought I'd throw that out there. Because
Yeah.
you definitely were. You got your share of Hot Wheels, too.
Yeah. But yeah, probably around then when I guess I just kind of assumed I would get a Barbie from then on. Or a Hot Wheel every time we went to the grocery store.
So throw yourself back there, and what's the, like, what do you go through when
I was
you're
quite
figuring
disturbed.
that out?
I was like,
Disturbed,
wait a
yeah.
minute. Like, you're telling me that every time we go, I don't get a toy? Like, I was kind of like, whoa.
Because that's a big
This can't
change.
be right. Like,
That's a huge change, right?
yeah. But kind of, I always kind of knew, subsequently that, I couldn't get everything I wanted, but I also kind of always thought that, oh, if I make this face or if I ask nicely that, you know, I'll get the thing
You
I
mean
want.
subconsciously?
Subconsciously,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
No, for sure.
Subconsciously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of the first time I realized, because I had other experiences where I'd been told no.
Definitely. Well,
so many
thousands of
times,
them
yeah.
since you were born, right?
But I guess probably any time. Yeah, I guess it took a few times for you to say no, and then I was finally like, wait. This is only a once in a while thing? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd gone to the grocery store so many times and been told, like, no, you can't get that. But when the one time you bought me it, I was like, okay, well, game on.
Because it's a massive recalibration, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that sort of, you go from kind of having a vague understanding that you can't just, that it's not always yes, to like, whoa, no. I mean, there's actually going to be many times where I will really want something, covet it, and I'm not going to be able to have it. Like that it's just not happening. It's not because of some nebulous, barely understood words. It's not because somebody's mad at me or because I'm not performing correctly. It's just like, nope.
Yeah, that's probably it, honestly. Like, That's probably because there have been other times where I had realized, whoa, I can't get everything I wanted, but this was the first time that it kind of clicked. So that's probably.
I'm trying to think. For me, it would have been the same kind of cumulative. But I think really it would have been music. Like when I wanted to have a better sound system in the house. I remember it turned out upon venturing out and looking at other people's gear, it turned out that my family wasn't working with the best sound equipment in the house for playing music. And I remember wanting that, like let's I want one of those. Let's get one of those. And it was definitely a firm no. Like our old record player was that was what we were going to work with, and until such time as, I could afford to upgrade my own equipment. So I remember thinking like that. Okay, that's the first time I remember realizing that. Okay, like there's a direct relationship, a correlation between what I can provide for myself and what somebody else can provide for me. Right. And there's a divide there, like that. Okay, there's things that if I want them, I'm going to have to get them for myself. And so that was revelatory, was realizing like I'm gonna have to do this myself. That's a pretty good. It's a huge thing in life, because crazy. It's a big part of life. Even no matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how much money you have. There's always going to be things where it's just like, no, man, you can't have that. Even if it's whatever it is. You want to live on Mars. You can take your shot, but you might not be able to. No, but you if you want something, then you have to get it yourself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was a good one. I had to think about that one. I like that one. Oh, you did you? Mm-hmm. All right. So for weirdness, I have... Honestly, this one's weird, but I don't feel like it's not as weird as some of the other things we've talked about. Right. But it's still decently weird. I'm sure we can turn it weirder. So, do you know the fish at the very deep, deep, deep trenches of the ocean? The fish that have the little lamps on their heads? Yeah. Those things are weird. But they're cool, too. Like, there's kind of a... It's, like, cool and weird, and it's in the middle. Yeah, they use it as bait to draw in unsuspecting fish who think it's just a little nibble morsel. Or something, yeah. And then they jump out with their giant rack of teeth and their trap door of a mouth and devour it. Yeah, I just think they're weird. Like, if you look at a picture of them, they're just so depressing looking. And everything down there is weird. The deep is full of weirdness. Yeah. They're always coming up with some new thing. Anglerfish. Oh, God, they're weird. Look up the most recent. The squid, the giant, not the giant squid, the colossal squid. That's weird. That's weird too. It's. There's one that they have the body of one. They've very rarely been seen. I think I put it in Change Happens, or I'm gonna. I think. Oh, you know what? I haven't put it in. I'm gonna put it in. Yeah, these are cool. There, look at the size of it. I'm not even sure. I can't even remember how big it is. It's the size of a bus or something. It looks the size of a bus. And it has weird hooked claws like fingernails, and it has a beaked nose. Like, it's a super, super frightening creature. And up until not that long ago, 150 years ago, I hate not knowing the exact, I'm just blasting out numbers, but not that long ago, it was first spotted or rumored to be spotted, and for sure people were like, sure, buddy, you saw that. Hooked beak, clawed, yeah, sure you did, buddy. But if you look like along its arms where the suction cups and things, right? But it's all these hooked claws, like it's super nasty. And does it say there how big it is? I think it is like the size of a bus. Let me look. How big is that's a crazy weird thing. Colossal squid. Everything down there is nuts. Like there's between 10 meters, so 33 feet, or 46 feet. Feet or meters? Feet. So 10 meters
Between 10 meters and 14 meters.
And 14 meters.
So, or for the people that speak feet, 33 feet or 46 feet.
I mean, that's humongous. And
Yeah.
what does it weigh?
At least 500 kilograms. So at least
Half a ton, 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, at least 1,100 pounds.
That's crazy. That's humongous. With the teeth and the beaked nose and everything. We have no idea what's down there, right? That's actually, was it last episode or earlier in this one? When you were talking about how we've only explored, last episode, like 5 or whatever percentage of the ocean.
Much of the ocean.
But this is... Yeah, we have no idea what's down there. There's it's weirdness upon weirdness upon weirdness. Yeah. It's you know what it is? It's like it's an alien world, literally. Like the creatures that are down there, when we do find them, or they come up like that enormous squid, or I think that's what they called it, right? Or
the colossal squid.
The colossal squid, as opposed to the giant squid, which is we see them more often. And they're just alien. Like they're literally the stuff of horror and movies. Like they don't even remotely resemble us or anything about us. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we've only explored 20% of the ocean.
Which I don't even know how they come up with that number, because that's.
Well, yeah, I've seen this. This says 20%, another thing says 5%.
Yeah, because I think that 20 is considering explored, being like, well, let's just say we've looked at everything from 0 to 1,000 feet down, and it's like.
Most of these are saying 5%.
Yeah, that seems more likely.
Yeah, like actually explored, 5%.
On Little Cayman, there was a wall there. That's one of the reasons people love to dive, because you'd be in like, say, 30 meters, 10 meters, 15, 20, 30 meters was the predominant diving, which is nice. People couldn't burn through oxygen. It was safe. But one of the reasons that people loved to go there was this wall. And the wall went down, I don't know, I can't remember the number, but thousands and thousands of feet, thousands of meters straight down, right? It was really exceptional, weird.
Didn't you go down there one time?
Coalescing of things at a dive location. That's why people love Little Cayman. And I always used to think, well, we would take people along the wall. We'd go down to, a reasonable depth that we were allowed to take tourists down to. We would go deeper on our own sometimes, but there's really nothing to see. So you go along the wall, and I'd look down, and it was always fascinating me, like to think how unbelievably deep, like how there was just nothing below me. Nothing but water, and then who knows what's down there. All of the weirdness and weird creatures, they never come to the surface, or if they do, it's only at night. I mean, it's just it's amazing, really, this whole other world. Like here we are, we're going to try and put some people on the moon. We're going to have a base there within probably 10 years, easy, maybe 5, where people will be living up there the bubble life, and we're trying to see if we can't move ourselves around in space, which, fine, it's a reasonable thing. The planet's finite eventually, billions of years, but finite. But we don't, our own planet, it'll probably never get explored, because there's just no upside to going down there. We can't live down there. We can't, if something happens to the Earth and we need to be somewhere else, it's not going to be on the bottom of the ocean. So it's like, we'll see. Whatever pops up, maybe we'll look at once in a while. That dude from the Canadian guy with the Avatar movies, the Terminator movies.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he poured a lot of his spare cash into going to the bottom of the ocean, to the depths of the Marianas Trench. It's true. He's been the deepest of anybody. Which is kind of cool. Like if you're an explorer, I guess, if your claim is that you've gone deeper into the ocean than anyone else.
Yeah, I mean that's cool.
If you got money to burn, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
There's definitely a lot of weirdness down there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there's lots of things to see.
That was a good episode. I like that episode.
Are you wrapping this up, are you?
Yeah.
That seems about time. Well, I love you too.
Or as Charles Boyle would say, I love you, Cousin Boyle.
Wow, you're going to start doing Brooklyn Nine-Nine quotes now?
Yep. Okay, I love you.
Fine, I'll start doing Vikings quotes.
Okay.
No, there's no Vikings quotes. I'm trying to think of a show. Seinfeld. Maybe I'll do bits from Seinfeld.
Okay, yeah. I love you, Dad.
I love you, sweetie. Yes, indeed.